Hi, my name's Hayley and welcome to my demonstration of my firefighting helicopter artifact. Okay, so let's have a look. So on my first series circuit, I have two lights that are powered. That is imitating the control center being opened, as you can see by the windows. Now on my first of the parallel circuits, I have a buzzer. The buzzer is inside the bottom of the helicopter and is imitating the sound of the engine. Let's have a listen. Now, on my next parallel circuit, I also have the motor. The motor is up here in the helicopter and it's actually attached to two paddle pop sticks imitating the propellers of a helicopter. Let's have a look. Now, both my series and my parallel circuits work alone, but they can work together as well. So, for instance, if I just want to make it look like my helicopter is ready for takeoff, I will turn on my buzzer and my motor. Let's have a look. And my little pilot is ready for takeoff. Now, we'll also try it with the lights as well on the series circuit, so we have all three circuits running at the same time. Amazing, and that is my demonstration. Thank you. Here's a photo of my finished artifact, a firefighting helicopter. In creating my artifact, I learned about the scientific concepts of constructing circuitry. So first we learned about electricity. Electricity is a form of energy based on electron movement. So negatively charged electrons create a current by flowing from my power source, which was a battery, travelling along conductors, which were my wires, and back to the original power source, completing a full circuit. Now, I also included switches. So when switches are turned on, electrons do complete that full circuit, which power the electrical devices. However, when the switches are turned off, there's an interruption between current, and therefore the electrical devices aren't powered. Now, through creating multiple series and parallel circuits, I'm able to run each switch separately or all three together at the same time. Now, in a series circuit, we did learn that the current remains the same along the whole circuit, which means that each electrical device shares the current equally. However, this differs with parallel circuits as they go through different pathways, so each electrical device is powered at a different current. As shown in the diagram, I have three conducting loops parallel to one another, conducting three different types of electrical energy conversions, including multiple light bulbs, a motor, and a buzzer. The artifact operates these electrical energy conversions on only one battery source, producing 4.5 volts. As shown on the diagram, I have identified the direction of the current travelling. There are three switches on the left-hand side of the diagram. Each switch separately operates the series circuit for the two light bulbs, the first parallel circuit with the motor, and the second parallel circuit with the buzzer. On the current screen is a list of materials I sourced for this project and an overview of my total budget coming in at $40.37. In keeping my budget down and creating a sustainable project, I adopted the 3 R's of reduce, reuse, and recycle. To reduce is to use less to avoid wastage. I initially didn't do this as I brought more than I needed for my artifact, including light bulbs, globe holders, or wires. So I ensured not to open these packets unless I needed them. Therefore, when I finished my assignment, I was able to return the items back to the shop with the receipt and decreased my budget and reduced wastage. And now my updated budget is on the screen. To reuse is to get an item designed for one purpose and use it for another. I was able to use the cardboard boxes that A4 paper is delivered in to create most elements of my artifact, including the helicopter, the control box, and the base. I also found paddle pop sticks in my old arts and crafts box in the house and used these as my helicopter propellers. After concluding my project, I did have leftover cardboard, so I did do the last step of the 3 R's and recycled all remaining materials. In adopting the 3 R's of my artifact, I have created a sustainable project not harmful of the environment. The purpose of the construction of this model with Stage 3 students would be to enhance students' understanding of the unit physical world. In particular, the outcome, explain how energy is transformed from one form to another. The construction of this artefact would focus on the inquiry question, what types of energy transformations can be observed? As identified in the content descriptors for the science and technology syllabus, for this inquiry questions, students will investigate how electrical energy can be transferred and transformed in electrical circuits and be generated from a range of sources. I believe when assessing this science knowledge outcome, formative assessment would be appropriate. Teachers can assess student understanding of the outcome, explain how energy is transformed from one to another, by observing classroom interactions, viewing planning diagrams, casually interviewing students, and potentially reading artefact portfolios. Ongoing formative assessment enables teachers to observe the understanding of the knowledge taken place by their students. A pedagogical content knowledge I developed for this assignment was the 5 E's, inquiry-based science. The 5 E's model is underpinned by the constructivist learning approach, with 5 components of engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. Students learn to develop an understanding of the specific scientific content by building their own knowledge and understanding of the topic. Through experiencing this successful framework during tutorials, I aim to include it within my own teaching pedagogy. First, for this assignment, I would engage students by setting up a previously constructed artefact in the centre of the room. After gauging interest, I would show students the working artefact and pose the question, how does energy transform from one form to another? During the explore phase, I would allow students to explore the given materials of a battery, wires, and light bulb. Students would be able to be given the challenge to make the lights glow. Health and safety implications must be considered. Concluding this, I would allow students to explain their findings before I provide an explicit explanation of electrical circuits. Next is the elaborate stage. Here, students will begin to create their own artefacts using the learning that has taken place and extending it to their own scientific design and production. Finally, students and teachers can conduct evaluations of the final product, observing and understanding of knowledge taken place in the learning and teaching sequence. Another pedagogical content knowledge developed when constructing my artefact was project-based learning. This is a student-centered pedagogy, enhancing 21st century skills of critical thinking, creative thinking, teamwork, and leadership. Relational to my artefact, this pedagogy involves designing, building prototypes, reflecting, revising, and evaluating. I aim to become inclusive of this pedagogy within my own teaching practice, supporting students to build soft skills essential for participating in a 21st century society. The project-based nature of constructing artefacts would meet both the scientifically working outcome and the design and production outcomes in the syllabus. Focusing on the science and technology skills outcomes, students who undertake this project in the classroom would be meeting the Stage 3 working scientifically and design and production skills outcomes shown on the slide. This is evident as students learn to work scientifically as they plan and conduct electrical scientific investigations using trial and error processes to answer testable questions and collect and summarise data to communicate conclusions. Additionally, through the construction of the artefacts, following the motto of reduce, reuse and recycle, students will be able to enhance their design and production skills as they plan and use materials, tools and equipment to develop solutions for a need or opportunity. I believe the construction of this artefact links to the Stage 3 key learning area of geography for the topic factors that shape places. I would particularly focus on the outcome GE3-3, compares and contrasts influences on the management of places and environments. Students will focus on the inquiry question, how can the impact of bushfires on people and places be reduced? By using the skill of compare and contrast, students investigate previous methods to manage bushfires and compare these to current methods of managing bushfires, particularly how helicopters are now involved in firefighting procedures. As shown in my artefact, students could design and produce a working firefighting helicopter. Following the construction of their helicopter, students could create a written text. This would link to another key learning area of English, meeting the Stage 3 outcome of creating written text as students plan, create and revise written text for multiple purposes and audiences through the selection of text features, sentence level grammar, punctuation and word level language. I would encourage students to write for informative purposes as they compare and contrast past and present management of bushfires. Within the construction of this artefact, there is the potential for the inclusion of the cross-curriculum priority of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures. Students can research and include within their informative text Indigenous bushfire management processes such as cool burning. Additionally, another cross-curriculum priority that could be integrated within this construction is sustainability by encouraging all students to adopt the principles of reduce, reuse and recycle. Through the construction of the artefact, meeting all the outcomes from the key learning areas of science and technology, geography and English, students would practice many general capabilities. Through working in groups and creating physical artefacts, students would be practicing their personal and social capabilities and critical and creative thinking skills. Additionally, when writing informative texts about bushfire management, students would improve their literacy skills. To meet all the desired outcomes from the construction of the artefact, I would create a 5-lesson learning sequence as shown on the screen. Through the construction of my artefact, I faced minor problems in wiring the circuits. My first difficulty I encountered was wiring the series circuit. I originally designed to include 4 lights within the series circuit, 1 for each corner of the helicopter pad. However, when wiring this loop, I soon discovered that even though all 4 lights worked, they were extremely dim. To solve this problem, I removed 2 lights from the conducting loop, and instantly the lights became extremely brighter. Therefore, I decided to make a design change to include only 2 light bulbs in my artefact for the series circuit and relocate the position to on top of the control panel box. Another difficulty I encountered was during the wiring of the parallel circuit. I originally designed to only have 2 conducting loops with both the motor and the buzzer on the parallel loop. However, when wiring that parallel circuit, I soon realised that only the buzzer was working. First, I thought the motor may have been broken, so I tested the motor separately and found out that it was working. Through some trial and error testing, I concluded that the buzzer was drawing too much power for both electrical devices to work, as the electrical current is divided in parallel circuits. To solve this problem, I made another design change, including an extra parallel loop to have a total of 3 loops altogether. This way, the buzzer and the motor were on separate conducting loops, and both were successfully functioning. If creating a similar project within the classroom setting, there would need to be considerations made to ensure the health and safety of all students. First, through the creation of the physical artefacts, teachers should be handling the hot glue gun for students and any sharp cutting of recycled objects, like bottles. During the wiring phases of the project, the teacher must set up extremely clear expectations and rules, one of those including if at any time the battery source gets hot, immediately remove your hands from the project and call the teacher over. Additional considerations in creating this project in the classroom could be the ability of students. It would be ideal to use the strategy of deconstruct and reconstruct by previously conducting a whole class project very similar before students take on their own. I think it is also important to take on the wiring phases as a step-by-step instruction. Teachers can also form the groups based on mixed ability, whereby students who have a higher knowledge of the topic can take on a group leadership role and assist the other members.